are just so happy to have you here. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much for inviting me, Nina. It's
Oh,
such an
of
honor to be here.
of course, of course. We would just love to learn more about you, Irina. So please, to get us started, tell us about you, your company, and your motherhood journey. We'd love to learn more.
So, my name is Irina. I was born and raised in Russia, Moscow, but I always knew that I wanted to live somewhere else. For a long time, I thought it would be England, but hey, now I'm in LA with my wonderful husband and our 15-month-old daughter, which we love and adore, and she's the cutest thing ever. And I started the company actually in LA this April. And I always wanted to do something that would honor the journey to become a parent and celebrate parenthood in any shape or form. And I'm so happy that my daughter comes like alone on this journey. Maybe she's too small now, but maybe she will remember something. I don't know. But I always believe in setting an example by showing, by be this example rather than just like talk and say theory and say no and yes. And if you eat sweets, it's kind of difficult to let them not eat sweets and say like no, sweets are bad, right? So hopefully I'm a good example for her, and that's all that matters to me.
Oh, of course. Well, it sounds like you care so much and you're a great mother. But yeah, tell us what made you decide, like, oh, I want to be a mom. I'm going to start this business. Tell us more.
I think I always knew that I wanted to be a mom, especially growing in Russia. At that time there was like such a certain kind of way of living this life. You go to school, university, have a nice job, meet someone special, have kids, and so like go on, go forth. And I knew that I wanted it all, but I wasn't sure that, I wanted to experience the world. I want to see what else is there. I want to do my master's and like some other things. And I think that was the reason why I left Russia, moved to England, did my master's there. And when I met my now husband, it took me some time to realize that he's the one. But when I realized it, I was like, I want kids, I want kids
Oh,
from you. So for me, it was not like, I want kids. And I met him, I was like, let's do kids. It was like, oh my gosh, I love this person. And I could see myself, having our children. And he also, when I met him, he has a son from first marriage. And when I met him, Max, his son, was 3 years old. So I got to experience my now husband as a dad, like from the very beginning of our relationship, which was truly amazing. And I think he's the most wonderful dad ever. And
oh,
that's why when we, started like thinking about kids, and it was very important for me that he was on the same page, because I truly believe that there is so much like wonder and love, and when both parents are on the same page, because um we had such a wonderful relationship, and obviously there was always like a scare that like what will kid bring. And I knew that like our daughter would make it even more wonderful for my husband. It was like I already had a child, we love each other, it's so much fun, like do we actually need someone else? um so it took us some time to get on the same page, and then I got pregnant straight away, and unfortunately I experienced miscarriage. And when I said that, I never like kind of dreamed of having kids. I always knew I wanted, but it was never like on my mind. I never knew that it was even possible. I thought, like in every movie, they fall in love, they met, they fall in love, beautiful children, but unfortunately, as I said, I experienced miscarriage. But
I'm so sorry.
um, thank you so much. And but there was so now I realize how many wonderful things happened because I had this experience. My husband realized that he wanted another kid more than anything, so it was really plus. He was like, I really want a kid. Even before that, he was like, but now he was like, no, I want a kid. I also knew that I wanted to have a child. I obviously turned to social media because that's I'm so grateful that people now open up about their journeys, and they're
Yes.
so like saying, hey, it's okay, it happened to me, it can happen to anyone, not even miscarriage but in different aspects. And I feel like there is so much kind of freedom in it, that
Mm.
like you need not only like to see like, oh my gosh, you experience it too, but you see like, hey, so many people experience, and there's so many people that make it, this journey successful. Like they have, in my case it was like they still had a kid, and they have children, and there are so many options. And like I feel like when we lose hope, that like the worst thing that can happen. Until we have this hope, we can achieve anything. And
Mm.
so by it really helped me. Like if there is one thing that helped me live through my miscarriage, is definitely knowing that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, by knowing that other people experience it and they have a successful story. But also, I was blown away how much pressure there was on mother or father being this certain like ideal person, that
Mhm.
i I don't even know like if anyone has a definition of ideal parent. Is it like having like five jobs, five kids at the same time, like clean house, making breakfast, dinners, lunches, packing lunch boxes? Like I don't know. I feel like everyone has its own definition what this ideal parent is, but it's like so unreachable in so many ways. And maybe not unreachable, but why do you even want to reach it? At what cost can you reach like your this ideal mother or father? And I always had this idea that your child chose you, so you're already perfect for a child. And like I'm looking at my daughter now, basically she has lots of toys, but she's as happy to play with my makeup, with knife, forks, and spoons, and every other thing that is not a toy.
Oh,
Like
for
she's
sure.
and
That's what they prefer, I feel like
yes,
sometimes. They're like, these toys, yeah, they're great, but I would rather play with this empty plastic water bottle and this like empty toilet roll paper and this box. Like they want the funniest things. It's so true.
yeah, and it's like the same as presents, right? They're more excited about the wrapping rather than the
Yeah,
present.
it's so true.
Yeah. So basically, and my husband, who didn't know how to help me, because it's something that it's also actually was very interesting for me to learn, that women talk so much about their emotion, about their experiences, when men don't even know how to talk about it. And not because they couldn't, like they can't find words, but it's something that like I said to him, I'm pregnant, and he's like, okay, freaking out or happy or like some different emotions, and then I'm like, I don't have a baby anymore. And like he didn't experience it, right? We as women, like I, even though it was a very short period when I was pregnant, I almost was like imagining myself buying baby clothes or newborn clothes. For him,
Yeah.
he didn't have a baby. He still don't have a baby, and was just some sort of like he couldn't relate to. And he told me, he was like, I'm grieving too. So, and I found so much strength in it. It opened me up to him, and I started talking to him, and we went through this together. And he was the one who said, you told me about the jewelry for kids. Maybe is that like let honor like journey to become a parent, that maybe it's the right time for you to start now. Maybe you can put all this grieving energy into something wonderful. And that's how I started working on OliviaR, which is funny story. My husband's name is Oliver, and when we talk about kids, he said, well, the kids' names, I always loved Olivia, like my favorite name. And he said, no, it sounds like mine. I'm not naming my kid after me. It's like very strange. No one understands it. Like, no. So when I was thinking about brand's name, I said, you know what? I will call it OliviaR, to honor, like it's my first baby, my business baby. It's kind of like my first unborn baby, like gave me the strength to create something wonderful out something that I thought was the worst day ever. Um, and I loved it, and it felt very, personal to me, because it's my story, and I never wanted to create something that just to have it, just say, hey, I have a business, like nothing like that. I always wanted to create something that I would be proud of, that my family would wear, my friends would wear, I would wear myself and be very proud. And it would mean something, bring some value
Mhm.
to community around us. So I call it OliviaR, and um, what was important for me at that time, that it represents, like, every parent who would wear a piece of OliviaR would know that he or she is already perfect for a child, rather than trying to achieve something. Just be there for your kid. You're already perfect. You maybe not know everything, but you feel like you look at your child and like what he or she wants. And sometimes, like, maybe, like, I don't know many things, but kind of like you will figure it out together with your child. It's also the first time for him, it's the first time for you, maybe second or third, but you're in this together, and just put everything aside. And why I said it was a funny story, because when I got pregnant during this journey with my brand, I knew I was having a girl, and we couldn't find a name. We were, debating on different names. Nothing like was perfect for us. And I said to my husband, let's, once she's delivered, we would look at her, and maybe we, like, there will be a name or something. Let's put it aside. And he said, okay. And I had to have my baby in Panama. And I knew that I had to have a miscarriage because of, like, some health complications. And last night, before her due date, or like before the day she was born, my husband and I were enjoying time together, like romantic, last date, just two of us. And he asked me, he was like, so what would the name be? Like, what do you think is the name gonna be? And in the same moment, there was a small girl running next to us, and her mom screaming, Olivia, Olivia. And he said, that's the sign. And so now
Oh.
I have a brand OliviaR and my daughter Olivia. So,
Oh. And a husband, Oliver.
yeah, over. And I'm like, it's perfect for me. Like,
It is.
I think it's perfect for him too. So, sometimes life works in mysterious ways. And
It does. Oh, and what a beautiful sign. And for you both to just realize, like, oh, that's it. This is just meant to be. This
yes,
is her name.
yes. I feel like, in life, everything happens at the perfect moment. And
Hmm.
sometimes, even if you go through, like, very dark times now, like
Mm.
in 2, 3, 4, 5 years, looking back, you will realize that you needed this experience. You needed for something maybe you don't understand now, but at some point it will all make sense. And I personally find lots of comfort in knowing and telling myself, like, okay, I'm in the right moment right now. Like, whatever's happening with me right now, that's the perfect situation. And that's how I feel like when my child makes lots of mess and I'm right here, sitting with her, has to have, like, lots of work, unanswered emails, and at that moment, like, I don't have help. I'm like, okay, I can stress out about, like, trying to manage her, answering emails, calls, or anything, or I could put everything aside, like, focus or dedicate this time with her. And then when she goes to sleep, yes, maybe I will be a little bit tired or something, but it's better for me to focus on it now. I'm in the right moment, in the perfect moment. I want to enjoy her. She's like my priority right now. And then I can do
Mhm.
other things.
I love that. Oh my goodness. What a beautiful story, Irina. And it's so true. Everything that you've been saying, even baby experts, like for not to, I hate saying that I'm a baby expert because that sounds weird, but I have worked with so many families. And even when I brought home my babies, you're still learning that baby. Every baby is so different. And you're adjusting from just giving birth to your baby, whether that's vaginal or cesarean. It's a recovery process, and your hormones are fluctuating, and it's just a whole new stage of life, and you're learning each other, and we really need to be so much more gentler to ourselves. And I love how you also said that, you know partners can have their own feelings too on certain things. They can grieve, they can have the highs and lows. And so I appreciate you sharing all of that. And what an amazing story to your brand. Oh my goodness. So tell us more about OliviaR, the mission, the meaning, and really the passion behind it.
I would say that, like, basically, I would like to honor parenthood, but now I feel like broaden it with like new customers. I actually have some customers who are grandparents who
Oh,
want to, honor their journey as a grandparent, and that's why OliviaR is all about families. It doesn't matter if it's, the family that like created you, like literally like, your parents, grandparents, or I have aunts and uncles wearing bracelets because, they like, my recent customer, he decided like he doesn't want to have kids, but he's has so much love for his nephew and niece. And he said, that the best thing that happened to me, I know that I don't want my own kids, but they are my family, they are my kids in a way, and he was like, I want this bracelet. And we do lots of custom work for, like, I hopefully soon we will bring it up to website, so it will be like easier to see like different examples and choose. But there are lots of people who reach out and share their stories, and it's like wonderful. So I want to like celebrate this like family ties. And also I want to point out that even, like there is beauty in every family. Like some has like foster, parents, some like adopted a kid. It doesn't matter, it doesn't like, it what makes us family, like this ties that we create, the love that we carry for each other, the bond
yes.
that we create through love. And
Yes.
I another like story that actually like kind of like make OliviaR, like completed. I would say that I have a very close friend. She's Turkish. She moved to the United States many many years ago. Her family is still in Turkey, and as you probably can imagine, like they're very quite religious. So when she met her husband and she realized that they wanted to have a child, they went to do some like tests, medical tests, and they were told that there is 50% chance she could have a baby, and there is 50% chance that this baby will have a heart disease, so like heart issue. So obviously she was broken away, or broken hearted, sorry. And she and her husband, they both decided that, they don't want to bring, like they don't want to put baby through this, like there is also, a chance that she might never get pregnant, but also like, yes, there is a small chance that she got pregnant, baby is healthy, everything is great, but there is a bigger chance that there will be some issues, and they didn't want to put their baby through this because, as parents, we're like responsible for our kid from the day kind of conceived it, I guess, like it's like our body creates this baby, supports this baby, right? And it's also so much for kids. And like my daughter has a runny nose, and I already feel bad for her. And like something terrible like heart disease, I feel like it's too much. But so they decided to have a surrogate that like will have a baby for them. And her whole family was so upset with her. They basically all turned their backs on her, saying, God created you this way, you're such a bad mom, you kind of like,
Hmm.
you know saying that, hey, no, I don't want to do this. Like if God created you, like he wanted you this way, he wanted you to either never have a baby or like have a sick baby, you have to go through this, like you're a bad mother. And when she told me, I was crying, like literally in tears. And I just like, now I'm still thinking about it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, and I said to her, like, you're the best mom possible. You put yourself through so much, you will never you choose not to experience, this full motherhood journey, starting like from having your, like feeling your baby inside you, and all these amazing moments that it's basically like your decision, but which was taken away kind of in a way from you because you want to have a healthy kid. And as a parent, you're already like so selfless. That's
Mhm.
why I think, um but like there's so much to talk about, like families, and you know we love them very much, but we might disagree with them, not always. That's why I feel like you is the most important person in your life, and if people would put themselves first, not like celebrities or somebody else's opinion, I would bet rather than like, how do I want it, what kind of mom, or I'm saying mom, like what kind of parent do I want to be, it's more
Mhm.
important rather than like, hey, what do my parents want from me, like what does society, like how does
Right.
society see me.
Right. You're
So
living your life for you. Check in
yeah.
on your values, what's important to you, and decide what's best for your family. And I mean, that breaks my heart that your friend had to go through that, because as a family we should be supportive of each other. And if we don't understand something, get curious, like ask them, like, what made you decide this choice, and learn more, because when you have a better understanding of really what they're going through and the thoughts they're thinking and all of that, you might have more compassion and understanding of where they how they got to that decision. So yeah, oh my goodness, so what happened?
They still they I mean, they put themselves first, which I'm very proud of her and her husband. They still searching for a surrogate because, as you I'm sure can imagine, it's not as easy. Like, it's not an easy process, and unfortunately, like, surrogate has to meet some certain criteria, and like health wise and everything, and there's so many factors into it, so they still going through the process.
Oh
But at least,
goodness.
they took some time to process it because they were kind of not ready. They wanted to do other things, but like now they started. I think it's been more than a year now, or like maybe like almost 2 years, but it's not tomorrow kind of thing. So I'm
Yeah.
very proud of
Oh.
them, and um as I said, I feel like it's so selfless, like to put something, and not that I can say, if you ask my husband, he said, like, I would choose surrogate, if it was me, like my body, I wouldn't want to go through this because, like, I guess for men it's a little bit like strange, right? And even thinking of, if they have a cold or something, they were like,
I
oh my
know.
gosh, I'm dying.
Women are amazing.
That's so true. But yeah, I mean, it's just like something that's why it's like when I was working on a brand, like, or creating OliviaR, I was like, I want to celebrate, being a parent, no matter how you choose to be a parent. It's your decision. If you put yourself first, and you should put yourself first, and we don't need to like kind of understand everyone's decision, but we have to accept it, right? I might disagree with
Mhm.
my parents, or might disagree with my like husband, and I can say like something, or with my kid, but it's their life, it's their
Yes.
decision, it's like they're their own humans, even at 15 months old. And I think that's the kind of the most difficult thing for me, because I'm there to support her, I'm here to like maybe guide her in a way, but I don't want
Mhm.
her to be different. I
Mhm.
mean, as you like, I'm sure you know that, like, you can see their character, I feel like, from the very like first
Oh
days, right?
goodness. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. They are who they are.
yes. And I have the most relaxed and chilled baby, and like my friends ask me, what do I give her that she just like the easiest baby in the world, I feel like. But I think it's not, there are not certain things I can say, I do this and that. I think it depends on the child itself so much.
Mhm.
Yes, like I think that I'm a relaxed parent as well, which helps, but you know she is her own character already.
For sure. For sure. Oh, that's so beautiful, Irina. And congratulations to you guys and your beautiful family. And oh my
Thank
goodness.
you.
Now, how do you honor your motherhood journey, and how do you believe others can really do the same?
Um, as in everything, I think that if I'm happy, my
Mhm.
child is happy, my family is happy. And I think that for me, like, honoring motherhood is by knowing that, okay, what do I want? How do I want it? And I know that I wanted to be a mom, and without being a mom, my life wouldn't be complete. But being a mom is not everything to me. I want to
Mhm.
have my business. I want to spend time with my husband. I want to see my friends. I want to enjoy, I don't know, new Pilates class or other things that helps me overall be the best mom for her.
Mhm.
Because can I be 24/7 with her? For sure. I love her so much, but I know that by being 24/7 with her, I might not be the best version of mom I could possibly be. So I think it's like taking time and understanding what is important for me now, like what
Mhm.
do I want now. And and obviously sometimes, like today, for example, she hasn't seen her nanny for a long time because her nanny was like, she's a nurse at the same time, and she needed to go away for like do some classes. And obviously she got used to stay with me. And I was like, no, I have this amazing podcast, I would like to do it, I would like to um like be the better version for you. So yesterday and before that, the whole week we spent together, we were on top of each other, we did everything I could, or she could, and now it's time for you to just like do something else. And I don't
Yes.
have, it also helps me not to have this like mom guilt, which some people have,
Mhm.
some don't. But I know that for me to be the best mom for her, I would like to be like, like there are things that I need to do to be happy. Happy me, happy her, happy husband, happy family, and like overall better life.
And
So
that's
I
so
guess,
wonderful that you recognize that in yourself, because you're right. I think a lot of women feel the guilt as soon as they step away from their child, even if it's just to go grocery shopping, which is not a thrill. But they feel guilty, like, oh, I have to step away. And for you, that's so wonderful that you recognize, no, I have to take care of myself to be able to better take care of my family, and filling up my cup in all of the different ways, emotionally and with other friendships, being feeling like a woman, not just a mother. So that's awesome.
yeah. And before anyone would say like, oh my gosh, it requires so much like financial, stability, like you need money and stuff. And even if you do, I don't know, one thing a week and you like ask nanny for a couple of hours, I feel like everyone can afford it. You don't need to have nanny, every day or like every other day. Or if you have your family, like your parents, like friends that can look after your child, I think, and taking this time for you, knowing that, okay, like I will do this thing that I've been wanting to do for a long time, and I will be so excited about it, like it means so much. So I want everyone to feel like, confident that actually everyone can do it. Like, unfortunately, I don't have family here. Otherwise, like I'm sure she would want to spend more time with my like parents. But so I have to have a nanny, and I don't have nanny every single day. But because I also want to be present in her life. I think it's very, for now, it's very important for me. I wanted to go to like mommy and me classes with her. I want to go to a park. And I'm also very mindful of, as much as I would like to have another kid next year, I don't know if it happens. I don't know if it's, God's plans and our plans. I don't know what will happen tomorrow, but I want to enjoy, even if I don't get to experience, like having another child. I want to say like, hey, I've done all the things with Olivia. Now that I'm happy, I'm fulfilled as a mother. I'm very grateful for this experience.
Oh, that's so, and I'm glad you're doing that. You're listening what's right for you, because again, everyone is different, every circumstance is different, and listening to what's right for you and taking care of you, but also being the best mom you can be. It sounds awesome. I just love
And
that. And yeah, go for it.
I'm sorry. I just want to say that I think you just mentioned something that is very important, because, like, you need to identify what is important for you. I also have
Hmm.
friends that they need schedule. Like my
Yes.
with Olivia, like I know that schedules don't work for me. Like it's much easier for me to go with the flow, and she is easier that way. But there are lots of like mothers, fathers, that they need strict schedule, and they have all the apps, and that's amazing. It's like, what is important for you? Like it works for
Hmm.
me, like not having a schedule, having a nanny, take some time off. But maybe you want to spend the first 2 years with your child, and you want to be like just a mom, and it's totally fine. That's what I feel like. It's like very, if there is only one message from our podcast, I feel like people will find confidence is like putting yourself and your needs first. And that's what I want OliviaR as a brand to represent, like understanding you already perfect. Whether it's you need to stay 24/7 with your child because you don't want other people, you want to experience it all, or you need to be more than just a mom. no matter what, you're okay, I'm okay, everyone is okay. It's your journey. Put yourself first. And I think that's where happiness lies.
Amen. Yes. And the people who don't understand that, they're not meant to be in your journey. And the people who do understand, that's what I believe. I'm like, you just need to make sure that don't worry about what other people think because it's your life. And when you're following what's right for you and your happiness and understanding just everything you're saying, Irina, I agree. Don't be afraid of what family members are going to say or what other friends are going to say because what is that saying? The people who mind don't matter and the people who matter don't mind.
Oh,
So
that's so beautiful.
such a great thing for us to remember. And another quote that I hear from people is like, oh my goodness, Irina, you need to enjoy every moment. And people totally understand the sentiment. Like, yes, babies are only little for so long, but then other people are like, well, but it's okay for me to not enjoy every moment. Like sometimes are hard and I'm okay to say that this is hard and I will not miss this. But like the phrase enjoy every moment, it just can feel impossible or cliche when we're in the trenches of it. So, how do you believe that we can change that perception? And how do you suggest we like truly enjoy the moments as parenthood? I'd love to hear your thoughts.
I feel like it comes down to what you actually enjoy and like put more within your life. Like obviously, I'm not sure many people enjoy changing diapers, but we have to, right? There is like, I mean, I don't know. If only if you
I
have
don't
help
enjoy the
24/7.
tantrums. I'm not in, yeah, I'm over the tantrums, that's for sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, I have a phone. I just give you a phone and be like, hey, look at the phone, and then that's my trick. But I feel like if you fulfill like put more like things that you enjoy doing with the child, and the rest, as I said, I'm very grateful. I have help, and like nanny comes like on certain days when I need it, and so I can leave things that I don't enjoy doing with her. But obviously, it's impossible to avoid like their tantrums, but I just I'm not sure like I would say like, hey, this stage like ends. It like helps me because I mean, like obviously every stage is so wonderful and beautiful, and but I try to be like more present with her life, and maybe creating moments that like truly enjoy. And yes, does she throw food on the floor? Yes, she does. I try to say like, hey, you can't get out. But I think that if you need a moment, there is nothing wrong with like stepping away or putting your child. And if I need a moment, I'm switching on TV and I say, okay, Olivia, I love you very much, but I just need like 2 minutes. This is all like 5 minutes or 10 minutes. And, I can like live here in the room and like sit in the next room or have a drink or call somebody, like just to restart and be like, okay, now we can continue. I can enjoy this moment. And we all have like, I unfortunately a couple of months ago I was very sick. I was so sick with COVID, and she
Mm.
also got it too, so we were both
Ugh,
sick. And
yeah.
caring for yourself and then for your child, like no
Oh,
help, because obviously I didn't want to expose anyone to to the disease. So it was just me and her. And luckily my husband didn't get it, but he, like, I sent him to the office. I was like, you don't need it. And so, lots of TV, lots of hugging, lots of like things that I don't know, like sweets and in bed and other things. And I feel like um, another thing that I would like, I keep on thinking about enjoy this moment is that like sometimes we make it more difficult for ourselves. Like, as for example, like kids need to sit at the table. Maybe they do most of the time, but there are moments when we're like, hey, let's have a cookie in bed. Yes, it might be get dirty, it might get something else, but you clean them. Or my child loves to play outside, and I love being with her. Does she get dirty? For sure. But there is also a way, like we all have like washing machine, and like I feel like now it's not even an issue, like compared to our parents when they were washing it. Like at least my parents, they were washing it with hands, and like because we didn't have, as growing back in Russia, we like they didn't have like washing machine or something. They didn't have like diapers we had today, so they had to wash it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah, I'm so grateful for all the changes and all the things that were invented. So yeah, I guess like it's just something that put all the stress away, from like extra stress that we put on ourselves, and just be like, I don't know, like do the tantrum with your child. I like it,
I
it actually helps. Like I start screaming. Sometimes if she screams, I like start screaming too, and she's like, "What's happening?" And she forgets, and we move on.
And yeah, and I think in those moments, you're right. I love how you said that it's okay to take a breath when you need to. It's not like if you're bubbling over and you're maybe going to not do something that you want to necessarily do, putting your child in a safe place, knowing that they're safe, and closing the door and taking a breath or two, or for 5-10 minutes, like you said, just to be able to like regulate your own emotions and your breath and come back with a clearer mind, I think is so powerful. And just going through it with them, and also I and going through that, what you just said, it also reminded me how sometimes, none of us are perfect. No parent is perfect. We all make mistakes. And the good thing about our children is they are so forgiving. They love us so incredibly much that if we come to them and say, you know what, I am so sorry that I yelled, at you. I just didn't handle that the best way I wanted to. Do you forgive me, sweetheart? I want to say 9 out of 10, if not 10 out of 10 times, they're like, yes, mommy, yes, daddy, yes, whatever they call you. I forgive you, because they just love you. And also for you to take that accountability and say, like, hey, mommies and daddies and, caregivers, we mess up sometimes. Us adults do too. And I'm going to own it and apologize. It just made me think of all of that and recognizing that we can go through all of these emotions with them. So, and it's okay to not always get it perfect, and to recognize that and admit it to them and move forward, because it sounds like you're doing exactly that with your daughter, which is so cool. And speaking of challenges, Irina, like what are some of the challenges that you have faced on your journey, and how have you overcome them?
I think, as I mentioned before, my husband has a son, right? So he's my like stepson, who is now almost 10 years old.
Oh,
So I feel like I face some, and he spends lots of time with us. We're very lucky. He lives in another state, but he comes to like probably every holiday. He just left. He spent summer with us, and it's wonderful. And he loves his sister, and he's the most wonderful and energetic. I don't want to call him teenager, but I feel like, teenager stage is
preteen,
right,
yeah.
yes, around the corner. And I feel like I face more challenges with him because Olivia, as you said, babies are forgiving, and I feel like they're also forgetting, just like
Oh
they
yes,
can,
move on
it's,
very
yes,
quickly, yes.
I'm very grateful. I hope she keeps on like moving on to different subject very easily. But with him, obviously, um, it's a little bit like a different dynamic, and I'm very grateful that I'm kind of not a parent. I'm just kind of this cool aunt or daddy's friend, or like obviously like step mom, but I can be a cool way because I don't need really to parent. I can be kind of on his side, which is awesome. I love it, and we have like such a special bond. But at the same time, as what you said, I feel like all the challenges come when we, rather than being kind of friend or explaining ourselves, we feel that we need to be this perfect, or like always perfect, that we can't have a bad day, we can't have a difficult day, that we can't forget anything, that we're just this, like, every time everything is right, and this is
Mhm.
not. And there is so much power in what you said, just saying like, hey, I messed up as a parent, like, or I'm sorry, I said something, and like I promised you something, and I could not fulfill this promise, or like I got busy because I also have work, or I just had a bad day, I forgot about it, I'm like so sorry. And I feel like with kids it worked magically, rather than trying to
Yes.
say like, no, it's actually not me, it's you forgot, we agreed,
Right.
that trying to blame, put this blame on them, just
Right.
saying like, hey, I need your help, like mommy, needs help, or like that, like, just saying, hey, like I couldn't do it, or help me, like what is the best way, like how do you see the situation, or like if something is happening, like one of the most, like the biggest challenge we face with like him growing up, because I want to use him as an example, because with Olivia, she's truly an easy baby, and I actually didn't have that many, like, I can't even think of any challenge, because she when she wants to sleep, she brings me a blanket. When she wants to eat, she comes to the chair. When she wants gummies, yes, we do have gummies, because we eat gummies, she sees it. And as I said, I want to parent by example. Yes, we limit it, but hey, we have gummies. She had gummies, so she's a very easy child. So one of the biggest challenge we had with Max was the bedtime. He, like lots of parents, and I understand how important it is for school and for like for just a child well-being to go to bed at a certain time, for them to have like a full night of rest. But every time he would come to us, it's usually the holiday season, like summer holidays, long term, or I don't know, like fall break or spring break, you name it. And obviously there was no school next day or something, and we always fought for this, like, you need to be in bed like by 8 or by 8:30, whatever time it was. And he, every single day, it started with like, can we do like 8:15 or 8:20 or like something that's not the time that we would set. And I looked at my husband one day and I said, why are we even fighting it? Like, let's have no bedtime. And it changed our relation so dramatically. But at the same time, I'm not suggesting that everyone should say like, hey, no bedtime and the kids will be fantastic and everything. But we had like one very special rule that if he wants to stay up and he doesn't need to go to bed, he can like party 24/7. But if other people want to go to bed, they're going to bed, like it's his decision, it's like my decision, like everyone is responsible for their own decisions. And obviously at the beginning he would stay till like midnight or maybe 1 a.m. But when he realized that he was the only one, he was like, okay, what else to do, like kind of. And now, even now, when he was with us for summer, but obviously like he went to camp, and even though he had to be up by 8, like we had to leave by 8 a.m. because camp is nearby. He knew like he didn't have bedtime as long as he can be out of the door at 8 a.m. If he's not out of the door, then there's a bedtime. And it kind of encourages him, like, to
Yeah.
be ready to, no matter how late he would go to bed, he didn't want to have a bedtime. Like there was something magical. I don't know what's with kids, but there is something, like so much attachment to this like word bedtime. I don't know why, but I feel like maybe like I thinking of myself as growing up, I never wanted to go to bed. It's like certain time, and so like and but I think the most important thing is like this kind of saying like, hey, help me understand how can I, like what, like you don't want a bedtime, okay, but like what are like the rules that help us, or like some sort of things that will help me understand that you will be ready like to leave like let's say 8 a.m. or something, and he was like,
Right.
if I'm not, will be bedtime. I was like, okay, perfect, it works for you, it works for me, and that's kind of um the style of parenting I want to like also maintain with my daughter, kind of like saying, hey, I'm here for you, I'm also, it's my first time with you, it's the first time for you, like let's work it out together. And I feel like sometimes maybe it's way too much talking, but it helps. I feel like it helps.
Hey,
And
and I think that's beautiful. I think obviously that's not just like everyone's parenting style. It's not for everyone, but finding something that works for you and for your children. And I really think that just comes down. I recently had a an episode with Janet Lansbury, who is like the founder and godmother of respectful parenting, and it sounds a lot of like what you're talking about. It's just respecting your child as if they were almost an adult, not saying that you treat them like an adult. You give them you have certain expectations and boundaries within their age limit, but really listening to them and their needs and considering their feelings, is a lot of like what I'm hearing from you and what you're doing with your kids, and allowing them talk about the things that are important to them, what they're comfortable with, but also you not just letting them do whatever they want, also setting certain expectations of, okay, well, if you don't want a bedtime, that okay, let's talk about that, but we need to be out the door by this time. So, what are it's almost like saying, okay, if you get in trouble, what are going to be the punishments? You get to choose what they are. Usually, most kids are going to be like, they're going to just pick like little things, but it's more of a conversation. You're not letting them run the whole gamut and make all the choices, but it's really bringing them into the conversation and then feeling like they have a say in their family, which can be really powerful. Do you agree?
Yes, I totally agree with you. And I also think that kids like to test the limits.
Oh,
Not
yeah.
even like saying like boundaries, not even saying that they will break them, but they just want to know that they can, you know. We have
Mhm.
for last birthday, like Max's birthday, he asked us if he could be naked on his birthday party. And his dad was freaking out. And I said, yes. And he looked at me, his dad, and he was like, what are you talking about? And I was like, say yes. What is the worst thing that can happen? He will be naked. Like, you know, I feel like he himself like would realize that it's not the best idea, but
Best
it's
idea.
his
Yeah.
birthday. And till the last, and I just saw this like smile, like, because he, like Max thought that we would say no. And he, you know, like, oh, you know, they said no, and he would try to push it and do something. And then we said yes, and he was like, interesting. Okay. And then he would like tease us every day, you know, like, I will be naked. I will be naked. I will be naked. And then on his birthday, then he was ready to like go like start this day. And because we were with my husband's family, he was like, guys, I'm not ready. Like, I want to like wear this and that. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, but I think it was like interesting experience for him as well to know that, okay, you know, they cool parents kind of thing, you know. And it just, as much as we, you know, we want to be parents because there are certain rules that we want them to follow, I feel like this connection with your child, it's also very important. And I didn't have the best experience with my parents. Now we are best friends, but it took us, maybe me, like, you know, a while to understand that I'm just should be just grateful, first of all, like for my life, because without them, you know, there will be no me. And second of all, they parented me, or they parent me the way they knew, like the best way they knew. And there was no so much education at that time. But even like now, you know, everyone is different. That's what we kind of like
Mhm.
trying to say. And you know, they have different aspects in their life. They were in different like part of their journey, so they did their best. And
Exactly. We're
maybe
all
with,
trying our best.
yeah, exactly. And maybe I would have been different if they, oh, I'm sure I would be different, you know, if they parented me differently. So, and it also help shape my like vision of being a parent, right, for my child. So, and the
Mhm.
kids will always find a reason to go to therapy.
Therapy is wonderful. I can't advocate enough for therapy. I think we all need it, even if we haven't gone through scars in our life. Like just talking about your emotions with another person to really like rationalize how you're feeling, how you're doing in your personal life, in your professional life, and just your spiritual life, like all of the things. I can't recommend it enough. So you're right. I agree with you, Irina. There's
And
always a
so,
reason.
to your point, therapy doesn't give us, doesn't say to us, right, how, what's the best way to approach this and that. It helps us realize what is the best way for us. So I
Exactly.
think that's why it's like so magical, this
Mm.
therapy.
It's so true. So, Irina, your jewelry at OliviaR is gorgeous. Oh my
Thank
goodness.
you.
So, where do you draw your inspiration from?
Um, I guess kids, because you know they look like a boy and a girl. But in all fairness, many years ago, when my sister, she was stay at home mom. She wanted to be stay at home mom. She didn't need to work. Like, she had two beautiful daughters, and when they were like 2 and 4, I think she realized that, okay, like I have kids, I love them, but I don't feel 100% satisfied with my life, and I want to do something else. She was always interested in fashion, and she wanted to like start working in fashion. And it was very difficult for her because she didn't need to leave her kid, like financially. I mean, like there was no reason for her to go and work, but at the same time, you know, the that's why she felt like mom guilt. Like she felt it very strongly. It was very difficult. And she was like, I'm leaving them at home. Maybe I shouldn't do it. But at the same time, I want to set an example for them that, it's very important to put your like wishes and desires also first. And, like not as we said, like not just be a mom, but also, like, be in, like, she was interested in many other things. And I did bracelet with two girls that looked a little bit different, like not a little bit, a lot different from what I had now in my brand. But I gave it to her and said, hey, you you don't leave them. You're following your dreams, you're setting them an example, they're always with you. Every time you miss them, you can like touch the
Mm.
bracelet, look at them, and they're always with you. And I thought like, oh my gosh, that's such a cool way of kind of feel this connection to your kid, knowing that you're doing the best for them. Because I feel like at the same time there was, like how people used to do tattoos with the children's name and
Oh yeah, they still do
something.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, something I always wanted to do. But then when I did a bracelet for her, I was like, oh my gosh, it's such a cool idea. Maybe I don't need to have a tattoo. Maybe I can just like have bracelets with my kids. And I think that's how it all started. And she loved it. She wore it every single day, and it's like as a present for her, and it's like a powerful message behind it. And that's why it was always at the back of my mind. So when I came to like me being as a mom, it's like, oh, that's what basically the inspiration came from. But it's like kids, it's still like I wanted to be as realistic, because if you look just on the letter like A or B or C, like it's still a letter, it might represent everything. But it's like my brand bracelets, like we're doing necklaces next. So it will like
Hmm.
one of them. I'm actually wearing a piece. I don't know if you can see,
Oh.
but just trying it all out. Yeah, so like basically, like I wanted to be, as close to kids as possible. That's why it took me almost a year to come up with the final design,
Mm.
because I wanted to be more like realistic and cute, but not childish at the same time. So
Yes.
hopefully, you know, it represents it.
I think it certainly does. Oh my gosh, you do so much, Irina. I don't know how you're doing all of that. So tell us though, how do you juggle being a mother and a business owner?
I ask for help. This is my number one. I don't try, like I never keep it a secret. I have luckily have nanny. At some point, we my first nanny quit, which was very like strange to me. But she decided to pursue her education, and Olivia, when she joined our family, Olivia couldn't crawl, and like when she was leaving us, Olivia was like walking and running around, and I understood that she was so much, like Olivia required so much energy, and so and then I couldn't find any new nanny, so I was like, okay, this is the best time for me. Then that means that I need to be with my child. But as I mentioned, she's very easy, very relaxed. She sleeps really well, like she naps well, she sleeps through the night. So another thing that like that allows me to work also, I was blown away that like I do lots of like Zoom calls, work calls, and I have Olivia either on background or somewhere. Like now she's curious, she wants to say hi, and so how supportive everyone was and everyone is during this journey. I've never heard anyone saying like, oh, you have your child next to you, like let's reschedule a call, or like everyone is so understanding. And I usually say like, I'm so sorry, we don't have nanny now, like it's my baby, she's very sweet, she'll just say hi, she'll like play somewhere here. And never somebody said like, oh, no, we like it's not okay, like let's reschedule when she's not around. So for everyone who's thinking of starting their own business or like doing something and having their kid, there is so much power nowadays in this, like that women can do
Mm.
it all. And there's obviously other women supporting each other, but there are also men who's like, or they like who have children, or like just in general, I feel like now men are more aware of like working moms, and everyone is super supportive. I also have an amazing trick. I give her makeup. So I have like mom hack. I don't give her makeup every single time. I do it like if I know that I have an important call and I need her to be like focused on something. that's where I give you makeup bag. But I have two exactly the same makeup bags. One bag is where like my like makeup, like that I use, that I need, that I like very dear near to my heart, and another makeup bag exactly the same, but has like all this like brushes or all like um old mascaras, like you name it. We all have, I feel like we all have, this like thing that we sort of like the packaging, but we didn't like it on ourselves or something. So I give you like, let's put it bad, makeup bag, and she can, play. But the trick is here is like obviously to give you something you don't use, because, now they can like open it and like do math.
Yes.
And also, don't give it every day, because obviously like she's not as excited if it's everyday
Mhm.
thing. So
Yeah,
that's
that's so true. That's amazing. She must be like a unicorn baby because if I did that with my daughter at 15 months old, oh my gosh, she would have broken up my powder. She would have like probably put the mascara wand like in her mouth, like, and I'd be like, don't do this. So like, how does she do that?
she can't open it yet. What she
Oh,
could
okay.
open it was lipstick. So I had to say goodbye to, I think, like five lipsticks, because like one day she just found a lipstick and she was like everywhere. I was like,
Oh,
oh
yeah.
my gosh!
Like a
But you just,
clown. Yes.
yeah, breathe in, breathe out, and finish your call. And then like, okay, let's take a bath. Like let's wash everything. I mean, what can you do? Like it's a
Mm.
choice.
Oh, totally.
You always have a choice to just stay at home and be here present. You always have a choice. Oh, I mean, like I don't know, bring your parents or bring somebody, or or have a choice like not do your business. It's also a choice, and maybe it's the best thing for you now. Like wait for like daycare. Like
Yeah.
I as much as I would like her to socialize with other people, I think that I still want her to be with me. That's why I'm choosing like not take care, because I can do. Yeah, sometimes
Yeah.
it requires me to looking after her and doing my work after 8 p.m. when she goes to sleep, and I can sit at my laptop. And yes, maybe I don't have 8 hours of sleep every single day, but it's also my choice. So
Of course. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I was just saying, oh my gosh, she sounds like a dream. Mine would be a hot mess. But I like that tip. And that's actually a tip that I have given a lot of my postpartum doula clients is when they have a baby and they have an older child, they're like, oh, how do I not get my older child to feel jealous every time I have to feed the baby? And my tip and trick is just kind of like what you've said, get them something that they really like, are really into, but you only bring it out when you are doing something like you just did, like you're having your business calls. So it only comes out when you're doing business calls, or if you're feeding the baby, those things only come out when you feed the baby and kind of rotate them out. And so they get really excited that, oh, mommy gets to feed the baby. Yes, that means I get these special toys. So then they're not feeling like, oh, you're always with the baby and you're never with me. So it can be tough. So anyway, I love your tip because it's so true. If you give them something that they're like, oh yes, I never really get to play with this, and I get to play with this right now, I love it. So I love
oh
that
my
tip.
gosh,
Oh my goodness.
I'm so grateful. I was like, because I didn't do any classes when I was pregnant, any mostly because I was traveling a lot at that time, and we didn't kind of have a set home. And unfortunately, my husband's dad was going through cancer treatment, so we had to spend like more time with him, and it just I just didn't have time for it. But not that like I probably would do it anyway, because I would like, it will be okay, it will be great. I always have this picture that it will be like amazing experience. And but I'm happy that there's like certain, like from what I like intuitively came up with my child, there's like lots of research in it, and like lots of like, yes,
Yes,
you're doing
people are
right.
doing that. Yeah, I love it. Oh my goodness. So Irina, I need to know, like, what are your goals for the future, like both personally and professionally?
Um, per- Personally, I would say I would like to expand our family. It's something that I think I need to say that I would be very happy with one, because I love her, but I feel like I have so many other like ambitions, goals, and I love my husband, and like other things I would like to do. But for her, I think it will be an amazing experience to have a sibling, even though she has a like step sibling, though we don't call it step, like it's her brother. But
Yeah.
the age gap is still so big, and they don't live 24/7 together, which is unfortunate. But at the same time, just like seeing this relationship between siblings, it doesn't matter if they argue a lot at home. It doesn't matter, if it's they might disagree or might not be the best friends at home. I feel like when they're out in this world, they always have each other, right? And it doesn't matter what's
Yes.
going inside the house, but outside, it's her and her sibling against, like, both of them against the rest of the world. So I think it's very important, and it also teaches them, like, to have like this family as number one thing in their life. Um, Professionally, I was working in the brand for such a long time, and I always wanted to be, like, inclusive. As I always say, parenthood, parenting, it involves mothers, fathers, and rest of family members. I understand, but I like, you could work and you can make something perfect, and you can spend years and years and years and still can be, like, not fully satisfied. So at some point I make a decision to, like, launch my brand, knowing that probably for now my the design looks a little bit more feminine, even though I don't like, I have some friends who, like, man friends who wear it too, and they love it. So it's like personal preference, but overall I feel like, it's more feminine than masculine. So as I said, like, we're launching necklaces, and, like, hopefully next month, and then I'm still working on the more manly, as I might say so. But obviously it's like all inclusive. Everyone can wear it, like, pieces, because I think that are so wonderful and amazing, and probably they could never, like, have a child themselves, but they doesn't matter. We love them the way they are. We, even though, like, my husband, he brings so much joy. He, like, I can't say that, because he has, like, very intense job, and he's always busy, and he misses her so much, and he loves her so much, and he wants to sleep with her. And he was like, it's my baby, she's only my baby for 18 years, and then she'll be, like, saying bye. And like, it's extra cute. And I really want to honor, like, the most amazing dads that we have in our life, who support us in the way they know how to support us. So hopefully
Yes.
they will be, like, expansion to the brand. So let's see.
Oh, that's so exciting. We can't wait to see Irina. I have no doubt that you'll be able to do it. Oh my goodness. Okay, so also, what is one thing you wish you could have told your younger self?
I think that's a very good question, because I feel like, for me, I'm not a what if person. So I actually believe, and I don't even think about, like, or don't focus on some scenarios. And sometimes people can be like, oh, I wish I did this, or wish I did that. Like, I think everything happens for a reason, for the perfect reason. So I found lots of peace in it. But I think that, like, if there is one thing I have to say, I would say, just start listening to yourself and to your desires and to your dreams, like, early. Like, I would like to do it, because it took me some time, because I was, like, searching for my parents' approval, for, like, society approval, because, like, these people want this, these people want that, or, like, these people is this, and rather than focusing what I want. But as I always say, it's my journey. That means it's the perfect moment. So, like, I found myself at the end, or hopefully, maybe still searching. I don't know. We're all evolving, right? So it's all working out.
It is. It is all working out. And what is one piece of advice you would like to offer a new mom?
Make a bag. And yeah, and just like I hope, and I want everyone who wears a piece of OliviaR to know that they're doing their best. They already their best versions of themselves, and it's just like, you're already magical, you're already wonderful, you're already so much more than sometimes we think of ourselves. And like, just hug yourself, applaud yourself. You're doing great. And it just, know your self-worth. And your kids, they love you, as you said. That's so true, that our kids love us. There is, like, this unconditional love that, like, we don't need even to do anything for this love. They already love us, and there is so much strength and comfort, I feel like, should be in this thought, that
Mm,
hopefully
love
everyone
that.
can find it.
Yes, yes. Oh my goodness. Irina, this has been such a fun conversation. Do you have any final thoughts that you'd like to leave our audience with?
Oh my gosh, like I think, like I keep on saying, and like maybe I sound like so cheerful and so happy in my motherhood and like business journey. And obviously there are days when, you know, I can't take a shower because, Olivia needs me 24/7, but it doesn't define, for me, it doesn't define my motherhood journey. I truly enjoy it. I truly love it. And I kind of happy in this moment. Yes, there are like difficult times. There are amazing times. There are more amazing times than difficult times, but I accept it all. And I'm very grateful for her that, she allows me to like bring my vision into this life. She's alone with me in this journey and she helps me. And when she doesn't, it's also okay, because it's like things that like help us, figure it out together. So as they say, there are always challenges, but it depends like what we focus on. If we focus on these challenges, then it seems like over we just all like like can be drawn in these like challenges and be like, oh my gosh, it's so difficult, so difficult, so difficult. But if we keep on focusing on like amazing things in life and like life opportunities, then I think there's always the light at the end of the tunnel. And so it doesn't matter if there are clouds today, there will be sun tomorrow.
Oh, agreed. Oh, I love that. Irina, this is so wonderful. Irina, now please tell us where our listeners can find you and learn more, all the details.
On the website, it's OliviaR.com. On the Instagram page and Facebook page, it's OliviaR by Irina. My personal page is Irina Reeves. If you like want to come and say hi, I would love to. If there's anything, you can always reach out to me. I don't like to say like, hey, I can give my advice, because as I said, everyone has different like thoughts and the process is different for everyone. But if there's anything else I can help with, I'm really happy to share my journey, and if people can find comfort in it, like I'm always here to help. And thank you
Oh,
so much for inviting me. It's actually my first podcast episode ever, and so I was so nervous, but you make it, so like such a nice experience and so comfortable. And I'm sure you've done it for so many times, but every single time it's a pleasure. Thank you so much.
oh my goodness. Irina, this has been such a pleasure. Thank you. And I'm so glad we can be your first. Oh man, this was just so much fun hearing about your story, the evolution of becoming a mother and a business owner. And just, I feel like a lot of people can relate to feeling the feelings of I want to be a mom, becoming a mom, still realizing, oh, maybe I want to do something else as well as be a mom, or no, I just want to be a mom. Everything is okay. Like you need to follow your instincts. And I love just the message that you're sharing through your story, through your brand. So thank you. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
And thank you to OliviaR for sponsoring this episode. After listening to this episode, like Irina said, you can really hear the heart and soul behind this company. You can learn more about Irina and OliviaR and purchase your own special piece and find them online at oliviar.com, or see Irina on Instagram at Irina Reeves _ and at OliviaR by Irina. OliviaR by Irina. Our team will be posting today's sponsored episode on our Baby Chick Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram page at the Baby Chick Chat. So if you have any questions or comments about our discussion, please share them with us in the comments section. And as always, if you haven't already, please subscribe to Chick Chat, the Baby Chick podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts, and leave us a review. Cheers to enjoying the moment.